Hi, I'm here with Heidi Rome, who has just released a new book. Congratulations, Heidi. Tell us all about it.
Oh, thank you so much, Elizabeth. I'm delighted to be here. Yes, I'm very excited. My book has just launched. The name of it is You Just Have to Love Me, Mothering Instructions from My Autistic Child. And it's been a whirlwind. And the book is based on my autism journey with my younger son, Ethan, who is now 14. He has severe autism. He's nonverbal. And the journey has been tough, but there was a very profound moment and conversation with Ethan through typing in which he described to me his experience of his own autism as a spiritual journey. And so my book, You Just Have to Love Me, is based on that conversation in which he blows my mind and shows that to me, and also though is giving me my role as his mom. So, and for all the moms out there who struggle with tough challenges with their kids, whether autism or not, Ethan gives really fabulous advice to help us keep our heads above water when dealing with parenting.
This sounds
So,
like a fabulous book. It's great that he was able to do this. And I know that he's autistic and we think, oh, that's really tough. But you're right. Any kid is tough. I'm sorry. And no parent is perfect and we feel the guilt.
we
That's
do.
the first thing, right? So he's letting you off the hook.
He's letting me off the hook by saying, you just have to love me. He didn't say you just have to change me, fix me, uh, you know, cure me, do anything, love only me, love me perfectly. He didn't say any of that. What that does, though, it gives us the responsibility, and it's hard work to love ourselves. And because what happens when we love ourselves and we take care of ourselves, you see, there's a real dilemma with us moms. We're acting so aggressively and frantically in our children's best interest, especially when it's special needs, that we neglect our own self-care. And we don't realize that when we do that, when we put ourselves last, we're actually probably, I hate to say it, I don't want to shock anybody, but we're probably hurting our own child without even knowing it. And stop and think a second, because imagine, if there's someone that you're counting on to really help you out in life and that you're leaning on, and you see them depleted and depressed and despairing and weak, I don't know, it's kind of scary. And it puts the burden of your happiness onto your child. It puts the burden of parenting onto the child. And especially a special needs kid, they have their own stuff going on and they can't be parenting you and taking care of you. So the beauty of it's very actually an empowering statement to say, when you love and help and prepare and empower yourself, you're loving and preparing and empowering your child. The best thing you can do for your kid is take good care of yourself, because then you're a role model for them. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like to take care of yourself, and you're strong and you're powerful. It doesn't mean you don't have feelings. It doesn't mean you don't have a hard day. It doesn't mean any of that. See, one thing I talk about in the book is something that I call the spiritual umbilical cord. And that is there heart to heart, regardless of whether you actually physically gave birth or not. It's not about that, but it's a heart connection. And, you moms out there, right? We feel everything that our kids are feeling, and they feel everything we're feeling, for better or for worse, when it's good, when it's not good. And we can't lie. How many of us have had the experience of having a hard day and the kid says, what's the matter, mom? Nothing, I'm fine. And meantime, they know you're lying. So because of that, that is actually, that awareness is a power. Say, all right, I'm going to be real. I'm having a hard time, but I got this. Mom's good. Mom's good. And you're demonstrating that, and they feel it, and they know you're honoring them. You're telling the truth, and they can trust you. And that lets them relax. You're not putting the burden of your own happiness onto the kid. And my point in the book is that it's actually a very practical power. It sounds very, oh yeah, love myself, and like it's good for the kid. Like really, because I have a child with severe autism. I know what the day to day is. I know what it is to have a child melting down, tantruming on the ground, banging his head, and being in a panic. What do I do? And then you might say, well, where does that advice kick in right now? Very much so. Very much so. So I really invite any parent, anytime your child is melting down or in any way acting out, and to get in touch with that, because there are two scenarios there. One is what had been my default one of, oh my God, he's melting down. I'm a horrible mother, and everyone around here knows I'm a horrible mother and out of control, don't know what to do. Oh my God. And you know what? And by the way, that's speaking from a real life event. And I remember feeling crazy, and this tantrum felt like it was going on forever. It was very scary. But then there's another alternative. And then unfortunately, there are other opportunities to apply a new way of being. And in a similar situation, if in fact you choose to say, okay, melting down, this is tough, but I got this, and thank goodness I'm here to protect him. Thank goodness, this kid is so lucky to have me here. Wow, all right, what do I have to do? Keep him safe, keep other people away. Anyone says something nasty, oh well, get lost. Like, I'm here for this kid. Let me stick something soft under his head. Let me protect him and be silent instead of, oh my God, get up, which only agitates, to say, all right, bud, I'm with you. It's okay, this will pass. And you take back your own control of your own being. And actually, I can tell you, Elizabeth, it can be a miraculous result. I'm not telling you it's curing autism. I'm not telling you it's doing anything, wild. But because of that spiritual, heartfelt umbilical cord, it does work, and the child can relax and know that mom has his back.
That is amazing. And I are you starting a support group for mothers as well?
Yes, I mean, and actually, I don't even call it a support group, but yes, I have a group, and the difference being that it's not a grief group. It's not a woe is me, oh, I have a horror story, because I've been to those, and I find maybe there's an initial relief, but then you walk out and you're depleted because it's misery and misery and misery. And my point, so yes, I have a group now actually attached to the book, based on the principles and the program outlined in the book. It's a place for positive thinking, I guess you could say, and empowerment, and the choice to be a hero of our own story, to let autism be our teacher, not our master, and say, wow, come together in community, because we do fit, we walk in the same shoes, we understand each other's challenges, with compassion and wisdom for when we fall back into the grief and parts of all this, but to say, well, wait a minute, what can we learn? And if someone is feeling kind of, they need support, well, then let's lift you up. We'll give you a hug, and then you turn around the next minute, you need a hug. But to come together and learn based on this principle, how can I stand in love? Ultimately, summing it up the way Ethan does, the choice is to stand in love, not fear, because it's in love that you create community, you create connection and possibility and creativity, and that's where we create the bright future that we want for our children. When we're in the fear place, when you're in fight or flight and only the primitive part of your brain is activated, it reduces the number of options available. Fight or flight, freeze or appease, that's it. But in possibility, anything is, it's limitless what you could create together. And so, yes, as community, we have a group beginning. I'd love for people to reach out and find out more. And I'm also going to be teaching a course based on the book and demonstrating how, in fact, this is a very practical course to be an empowered parent, a happier parent, and a happier mom, a happier human being.
Well, the reason I asked, it seems like there's a tremendous amount of wisdom there. And it seems like mothers and fathers too, if they need to, can get together and just share this wisdom and things that they have learned too around dealing with children. And I mean, all children really.
All children, yes, yes, the collective wisdom is what's amazing, and what comes out of people's mouths in the right word at the right moment is always, that's a miracle in and of itself. And I've witnessed that through the journey. When standing in love, the angels show up. And
Yep.
it's incredible. The earth angels and the others, I believe, but certainly the earth ones show up when you're open and can recognize them.
I think some of the deepest wisdom, and I know there are a lot of people that prescribe to this belief, and I myself do too, is that we are all made just how we're supposed to be. And it may not look right to some other people. And that's okay, because you're here on earth the way you're supposed to be here.
Yes,
Like
100%.
that's what your son was saying to you, right?
Yes, he did say that. And in that conversation, and I call it the God is in my heart conversation, because that was the first line that knocked my socks off. Like, what kind of conversation are we about to have here? You know, I said, what are your thoughts about God? And that's how he answered me. God is in my heart and will always protect me. And I was like, did he tell you that? Yes, when I lived in heaven, he told me that.
Wow.
In heaven, there are no bodies. He remembers a time without bodies. In heaven, there are no bodies, just spectacular energy. And it was a whole conversation, not that long. It was like 3 minutes, but it was unbelievable. And to your point, Elizabeth, that's one of the points he actually made, was that he chose to come as himself and have many challenges. And I said, why? And his response was, I will be greatly rewarded in eternity.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
deep. So I really have to get a copy of this book.
Yes.
So are you selling it from a website or from Amazon?
It's on Amazon. Yes. It's right now it's an ebook because it just launched. And for the Amazon metrics, you have to pick one format. So it was an ebook. And I'm in the midst, there've been a few formatting issues with the print copy. Everyone's asking me, I want the printed one. And me too, that's my preference. And so it's about to be ironed out. And so my hope and expectation is that this week it will become available in print form on
And
Amazon.
what is the name of the book again?
You Just Have to Love Me, Mothering Instructions from My Autistic Child by Heidi. And if people want to know more, they can please reach out to me any way, shape, or form. Google me. My website is momsspectrumoasis.com. And by the way, Ethan helped name that. That was another conversation. It's mentioned in the book. When I had told him I wanted to create something to help other autism moms and ease their way, he typed, I want to help you name it. And I said, you do? And I hadn't said anything. He didn't know anything about that I was thinking about this. And he also did not know, even more deep, that where I was stuck was in the naming, because a name is so important, to guide the whole thing. And here I was stuck. What's the name? What's the name? And here this kid out of apparently nowhere says, I want to help you name it. So I said, oh, great. You have any ideas? And he reaches over and he types mindful oasis. I was like, Ethan, thank you. You've named it. Oh my goodness, thank you. I then did the due diligence, and Mindful Oasis was a yoga studio in Canada. So I didn't use it, but I kept Oasis because I thought Oasis really says it all as a haven for us who need to recharge and just be re-inspired and reconnected. So he named that though.
Yeah, and you are a bestseller right now, right?
Yes, it's wonderful. And it hit #1 in two of the 3 categories that you when you publish a book on Amazon, you pick the categories that it will be in that feel appropriate. So there's disability parenting, and then parenting children with disabilities and special needs. And two of the three, it has been staying at number one. One of the categories, it's hovering at like 3 and 4 in that category, because not because, but Temple Grandin had an entry. You know, she's an autism rock star. I said, oh my goodness, it's wonderful she has a new book, but really, when I'm launching my book, all good, all good. But it is the number one new release, number one new release in multiple categories. So very exciting.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you. Everybody should look for the book, and they'll be able to find you on YouTube now talking about it.
Wonderful. And I would love everyone, please reach out to me. Let's continue this conversation. And it's all about the moms. You know, I started writing the book for me and Ethan and my family, but I kept through the hard stuff and ended the book because I had in mind that it was bigger than I was. And I wanted to do this for all the moms. So please reach out to me. I'd love to talk with you.
Great.